This is Mainstream Metaphysics with your host, Nick Newmont.
Well, we are back. Welcome to Mainstream Metaphysics. Of course, I am Nick Newmont, along with no other than Audrey Newmont.
Hi.
My lovely other half. It is a year-end, New Year edition. Thank you for watching. We look forward to doing this and taking a look at the year ahead. And I have no idea what I'm going to say. Now, what kind of psychic would I be?
It's hard to be a psychic for you, though.
Why?
Well, because you're in it. When people come to you and you're not in it, you can see things differently. You're in it.
I am in it.
But I know what I'm going to be asking you.
Chin deep, I'm in it. So we are in the studios of Conejo Valley Talk Radio. Behind the scenes is none other than Ed Hunt. Thank you, Ed.
Ed.
We hope you've had a good holiday season to this point, and the new year is upon us in another day, and another 28 hours or whatever. Yep. We'll be in a new year. Good Lord.
And that's what you're talking about tonight.
I am talking about the new year. I want to talk about something that wasn't fun, but I'm going to make it funny. And this is advice to all of you. Now, I haven't said this to you. So we all know the pitfalls of Mercury retrograde, right? And of course, a lot of people ask me when it's not Mercury retrograde, is Mercury retrograde or something? No. But what is retrograde? Uranus. Yes, Uranus is retrograde. And what does Uranus rule? Haphazard things, non-traditional things, wireless, Bluetooth, the kind of technology that rules what we do today. So I, over the last number of weeks, elected to port my cellular phones, the whole family, the iPads, everything, to another carrier. And there's a good reason for that, all right? Now, I am going to tell you this. Shave a line with a rusty razor before you port your phones to another carrier. Oh, look, it's not fun. It's not easy. They'll tell you it's easy. If you ever want to switch to a carrier, capture all your contacts, all your information, tell everybody you're getting a new phone number, and just go to the new carrier that way. Don't port your phones because there's a lot to it. And it's not what they make it out to be, and just don't do it.
And you don't do it during this retrograde.
Well, obviously you don't do it during Uranus retrograde.
That's what I mean.
Because it ends up Uranus. Man, I spent so many hours, right?
Right.
Correcting problems, going back and forth between the two carriers.
Pulling your hair out.
I did not. I have better hair than just about anybody. You can comment about anything. Yeah, at my 70th birthday, Stephen Palmer called me an Oompa Loompa. Yeah.
That was so funny.
Well, what did he do?
Stephen he's one of our associates. He works at our offices, and he's this gigantic, beautiful man. And he was talking about Nick and how he met Nick, and he was like, what? What is this like Oompa Loompa thing? He's supposed to be telling me things. And then he was laughing, and he said, I've always wanted to do this. And he went and he grabbed his hair and he like tugged on it because it's like, is that a wig or what?
Yeah, that's the real stuff up there. Just run some olive oil and Chianti through there. I'm good to go in the morning.
Your little rosemary doesn't hurt as well.
The rosemary? Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Anyway, and the funny thing is that, a couple months ago, we go back to October, and I did turn 70, and I feel good. I look pretty good. I've set an intention for the new year, and we want to talk about intentions versus resolutions, where you come into play on that, of really getting into shape in 2026. 2026.
It's crazy.
I remember, Audrey, when I was 9 years old and our house was being remodeled, and the head contractor at that time was 45 years old. And I thought to myself then, 45, because I was 9, 45. Oh my God, 45 is so old. And then I started counting in my head of when that was, and I was like, oh my God, I'll be 45 in the year 2000. And I was projecting ahead because then that was 1964 roughly when this was being done to my mom's house. And oh my God, the year 2000, what's it going to look like? And then a few years later, 1968 or so, that group Zager and Evans did that song, In the Year 2525. If man is still alive. Didn't you remember that song?
No, I don't.
Oh my God. Ed, you remember that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Then they go, in the year 3535.
Yeah.
Yep. Check that song
Man
out.
Still alive.
Okay. Anyway, so here we sit, and Ed is my age, so to speak. You're a handful of years younger than me.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to get the compliments about, wow, you don't look your age. I never would have guessed you for that age. And Audrey gets that too.
A lot of it is that we just don't think about it. And we were just talking actually earlier today. It's funny that this is coming up now. And we were mentioning that we know different people and they talk about getting older and they have issues around the actual birthdays when the birthdays hit. And I think we're in a moment where it's really important to understand we have so much modern technology now, and AI has gotten to be incredible, where you are, if you're 70, that's like the new, I want to say like 50. So it's important to really pay attention to where your thoughts are and your emotions around aging, because it's a mind process, and the more that you stay in the positive of it, you're not going to age badly.
Well, here we have the good luck M&Ms as before. There they are.
Maybe stay away from those.
The good luck M&Ms. When I had my birthday party, and our good friend Alexandra that channels Golden Arrow, she's older than I am. We don't have to reveal her age, and she looks great. And some
her
of my
energy is amazing.
And some of my fellow coaches that attended my birthday party, they said to me, a few days later, they go, they were commenting on Alexandra, myself, and how we look, and they go, what is it that you do? Because one of the coaches is younger than me, looks older than me. And I said, well, it's the energy that we do. It's what we do and how we do it. And they're like, well, we got to get some energy. So anyway, we're going to talk about energy a lot tonight. Speaking of energy, if you would like to get into the healing arts, boy, how'd you like I just segued into that?
Smart, good move.
This coming Monday, January 5th, we start Level 1 Sentient Healing. And it's a 12-week course which sets you up with a ton of information to do the kind of energy work that I do, and many behind me have followed. So if you're interested in studying the healing arts, and even if you're not in the Los Angeles area, you can Zoom the class. It is wonderful. It is incredible. The handout that you get is you need a 1.5-inch thick binder to hold all the materials that you get, and that's the first 12 weeks. It's a commitment program. There are going to be a lot of amazing people that take the course this year.
It's
that
a
have signed up.
really great group of people who are going to be in that. When people come to Nick and they get the energy work that he does, it's very unique. It's not something that everybody is doing. It's not like Reiki. It's not that kind of thing. And there's so many different aspects to it. And I think you're the only person that really teaches it the way that he teaches it, because on a level, he learned it from his teachers, but then he's also, over all these years, a lot of years, his guides give him new information all the time. Like he'll come home and say, I was in the middle of a session and they came in and showed me this new thing to do. So when he's teaching it, it's a lot of very unique information.
And the cool thing is that we do innovate certain techniques at Newmont Center that if I said what they are and you went online on the internet, you couldn't find it, because there are some things that we do that nobody else does. Now, on a little bit of a melancholy note, our longtime associate Ken Klee, who has actually been on my podcast several times, Ken is retiring from the energy work, and he's passing on the Klee ministry to someone that's studying underneath him. So that's quite a metaphysical artist that is stepping away from the work, and kind of sad that he's doing that, but he's kind of had enough.
I think it's important to get, as we're moving into 26, when Nick first started this, it was kind of like, what the heck? Who is this guy and what does he do? And even in the last, I want to say like 3-4 years, there's been a huge surge in people being interested in that kind of work. And it's
Right.
coming out of being something that's like woo-woo or bizarre or whatever people think of it. And they're starting to understand
Right.
that everything is energy. We're all quantum, physics.
What's the name
And
of this show?
it's becoming mainstream, and it really is. So when people are getting into that field, it's like with doctors. Doctors are getting
Right.
a kind of a bad rep at this point for various reasons, and a lot of people. I just spoke with somebody today. The doctors can't figure out what's wrong with her daughter, and I said, go to my doctor Nancy Sachs, because there is new innovative techniques for healing that a lot of doctors don't know. And it's the same thing with the energy work. When you do the work that you do, you're really able to facilitate some massive change in people's lives. So there is definitely a need for people who do that kind of work, because AI won't do that. AI can't do that. They don't have that
Right.
component within AI. So when you're wondering what kind of career do I want to move into, this is an option.
Right. And Ken would tell you too. I mean, if you do it right, you can have quite a abundant, successful career. I mean, you make a living
Heck yeah.
doing this. So
Well, you do.
if you're obviously so I know if you would have told me when I was about 33, 34 that this is what my life would look like I would have said you are crazy. But and maybe you are at that. This coming Saturday, in the wee hours, like 2-something in the morning on the West Coast, we have a full moon in Cancer, and it will be a very emotional moon.
Oh my.
Gird your loins, boys and girls, because man, oh man, we talk about the emotions of a full moon, and the moon rules Cancer. So for the moon to be full in Cancer, opposing the Capricorn sun, if anybody is in a morbid kind of mood, they are going to show it. They're going to go from an internalized woe is me to, well, I'm not sure if it's going to rain Saturday. It's just everybody's tears that are just flowing all over the place. Just don't cry inside. You'll shrink the carpet. Okay, keep the water outdoors.
And if you're feeling extra moody, I just decided we've had such a nice time doing artwork at the office.
Oh my God, yes.
Come in between 10 and 4 and do a piece of artwork. We'll commiserate together.
Yes. Yeah, it'd be a good day to do that. Remember, the moon is your emotions, your feelings, your subconscious, and the Cancer moon is the most demonstrative of all the moons. So just chill a little bit. It may be emotional. You did a great video. I've had comments come back to me about the big chest of lapis lazuli that we got.
Yeah, that is amazing. I mean, we got some beautiful pieces in there.
My whole desk is covered with lapis lazuli. They look like just little, like mini Stonehenges all over my desk because I got a lot of them to stand up. We bought 90 pounds of lapis lazuli. There's 114 pieces. Now, this is the part that because I've had people get in contact with us. I want to explain the pricing. This is really important. Yeah. When you buy a nugget, okay, of, a large piece of like old-fashioned bubble gum, not the little ones, like a jawbreaker, like this big, those pieces of lapis that are tumbled and really nice sell for $12 retail. And when you weigh that's 70 cents a gram. These big, beautiful pieces that we got to sell, we're selling them at 24 cents a gram. We're selling them for 1/3 per gram of when you get a polished piece about that big.
Wow.
Because we bought an entire chest of it.
Yeah. Well, we got a really, really good deal on that chest.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you're interested in lapis, which is one of the most beautiful stones on the planet, in fact, the bar with our names on there, that looks like lapis, the color of blue that's down below our name. So if you're interested in lapis, oh my goodness, get in touch with me, because look what Ed brought, a piece of his Stonehenge. That is lapis lazuli.
Ed has a lot of this size in his office, and they are like a little Stonehenge.
Yes, on purpose.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Yeah, I designed it like that on my desk. Ed saw it on my desk, and he bought the whole thing. He bought all 7 pieces, right, Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah, that's what we have. We have a ton of it. Anyway,
I'll put it.
look at that.
See, I'll just set it here.
So, anyway, so we've been having fun. Had a lot of fun in the holiday season with the candles, the specialty candles, all that.
Oh yeah, we've had a very good season.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been a lot of fun.
So as we morph from 2025 into 2026, there are some patterns that we want to look at, because as we sit here on the 30th, we have another day or so of 2025. And I think that everybody looks back on 2025 as a mixed bag.
Oh yeah.
Okay? And one of the things that I can say, because I do this psychically, one of the big, and talk about financially now, one of the big surges of 2025 was raw silver, owning silver. And it was overdue. In fact, I talked about silver way back, I guess in the summer or so. I don't remember which show it was, but I did talk about investments and things like that. I think it was last May. We're talking about precious metals. And since then, it is doubled the price of silver. In fact, when you go back to the summer of 2024, silver has actually tripled.
Wow.
So, and it's still going to go. So if you're looking for something else to get into in 2026, that is a solid investment.
It's still
Silver.
at the moment, I think, pretty good to get into. You have to
Right.
remember with silver, there's all these avenues with regard to it.
Right.
And there have been people who have been hoarding it, like huge, big people hoarding it. And
Whether banks or manufacturers, it's what goes on.
Well, and then come January 1st, China is not going to be having it exported at all anymore. And one of the important things to really understand about silver is it is in a lot of technology. It's in solar panels.
That's
it's
right.
in all different kinds of things that we all use. And
Well, it's
there's
a huge component in Tesla cars.
Absolutely. And so it's a finite supply of it. So if you have actual tangible silver, there is a huge probability that it is going to just keep going up, and for a lot of different reasons. And you can do your research on this as well, but
Sure.
We've already doubled our money on it.
Well, it's been undervalued, quote unquote, on purpose, but now you're going to see supply and demand kick in. And it's in the mid-70s now, and trust me on this, once we get to around March, I would say it'll be around 150 an ounce. So, keep your eye on that.
Yeah. What else with financial things going on in the new year? So or do you want to do this part first?
I want to talk about this first. I want to talk about the numerology, especially that this is sitting there. That book was written in 2001 and it came out, oh my goodness, this is 2026. It was 25 years ago I wrote it, and it'll be 2003, 23 years in January that it went out on the market.
Wow.
And look, he hasn't aged.
This is the guy I first met. This is the guy I got now. You're still the same. You just have lighter hair. Huh?
I know. Just as feisty as ever.
You are, actually. Yeah.
So we want to go backwards for a moment.
Okay.
And why was 2025 such a mixed bag? Well, when you do the numerology on it, 2025, you add the 20 and the 25 together, creating 45, which is a 9. Well, that is a whole, just the fact that we're going from a 9-year to a 1-year is extremely significant because we're cycling, okay? We're cycling through. Now, it doesn't matter if it's the whole globe or if it's you as a person, that when you're in a 9-year, and the way I illustrate this is as a fuel tank in your car. And so when you're in a 9-year and all the way down before you go into a 1-year, that fuel tank is getting very empty, that you're running on fumes. And what I tell people that when they're in a 9-year to pay special attention to the last 3 or 4 months of that 12-month cycle of being in a 9-year, because your energy, your immune system is all waning. You are running on fumes. So it's important in a 9-year, whatever cycle that you may be in, and some of you may be in, some of you may be going into it, that take care of yourself, eat right, get rest, exercise, because the fuel tank is going low. Now, we're going into a 1-year, given January 1st. And so the fuel tank becomes full again. In a 1-year, it's new beginnings, fresh energy, fresh start, new mindset. What is a 9-year about? It's a time of endings. It's a time of completing, getting things done, putting things to bed. 9 years about cleaning out closets, literally and figuratively. Were there people that you got rid of in 2025 that you're just done with? These are the things to look at. And also, it was a 45-9, meaning not an 18, not a 27, not a 36, 45-9. And we're going into a 46-1. So when the number 4 is in the lead, this is all about the need for structure. The symbology for the number 4 is the box, the cube. So the system is what's driving everything. Everything that's analytical, making sense, is linear. And number 5 is the number of change. So 4, 5 are in conflict with each other. 4 is very static, 5 is changing. But because the 4 is in the lead, and if we think of 4 as the system, meaning authority, government, 4, 5 means the system is pushing, creating changes. People are being moved. So what people felt a lot in 2025 like they were not in control of the situation. Okay? Makes sense? Mm-hmm. Okay? Just imagine this is a whole globe, not just a person going through a 45-9. The other thing about 45, it is undulating energy, which is problematic, meaning that your energy levels are changing day to day. Monday morning, you're full of energy, you go crazy. Tuesday, you can't get out of bed. Wednesday, you've got your energy back, you go crazy. Thursday, you can't get out of bed, okay? That's why I mean, so in a 45-9, what people have to learn is to mete out, to modulate, not to do these highs and lows. How many of you watching in 2025 just felt so many times without maybe cause that you were tired? Okay? All right, and I went through it too. So It's because the 45-9 energy is waning energy, it's undulating energy, so it adds up to being done, tired, complete. So what happens in a 46-1? Here, so first of all, you can see the math. So I take 2026 and I split in half. We have 2026, 20 and 26 is 46. Then we take the 4 and 6 and add those together, which creates 10. Then we reduce the 10, 1 and 0 is 1. Therefore, we're in a 4-6 over 1 year coming in. Well, first of all, the energy for the world, the globe, is going to be refreshed. It's going to be new beginnings. Did you have trouble starting things in 2025? If so, it's because it was a 9 year, was a time of endings. And 1 year is a time to start new things. Are you going to start new habits? Are you going to start a new energy regimen? Okay? Is there something that you want to create? Oh, are you a budding writer or creator? Oh, in a 1 year, you want to do that. Why are you giggling, dear?
Because I am a writer and a creator, yes.
And Audrey gave me something which I'm not going to talk about that has to do with that, which is a huge inspiration for my next book, which I started and I will be working on diligently in 2026.
That'll be good.
Now, so the number 6, what's that? Health, love, home, family, the concept of committed relationships, humanitarianism. So 4-6 means it's a restructuring of humanity in a positive way, okay?
Love that.
Mankind is getting uplifted in 2026, being a 46-1. 4 is all about work, ethics, morals. So this is more about the ethical treatment of humanity, all right?
Love that.
Now, 4-6 naturally, because 6 is health, this is definitely a year to do some kind of structured workout routine or regimen, all right? Now, if you are, and by the way, I'm going to do this. I did this for a client the other day. When you go into this book and you go into, yes, numerology, when you go into personal year cycles and you get to 46-1, this is what I wrote back in 2001. Are you ready for this? Yeah. By the way, at 45-9, I'm not going to read all that. It's a year of vacillation. Don't sit on the fence. We were just talking about a client of yours that fence sits. Oh, look at you. Goodness. You know who exactly who I'm talking about. Okay. So, 46-1. It's a year of new beginnings based on a restructure of responsibility.
I'm laughing now. We have a new term, the fence sitter.
You're right. The 46 is working out of the home or simply starting a home-owned or homegrown business. At this time, you may have to take on the father figure or male energy or simply be the keystone of the family and shoulder a lot of family responsibility. If it's a business that you're looking at, the business is going into a time of strength. If it's a stock, you will see growth. This is a good time to buy, okay?
Silver.
Personally speaking, because 4 and 6 are influencing the 1, the load of responsibility on your shoulders will come from work and family. But with the number 1 energy, which is new and fresh energy, you will have the ability to handle it. In fact, if anything, you welcome the challenge. So what do? You take on challenges in a 46-1 year. Look and see what is it that you've been wanting to do. You know, what is it that you want to conquer? Now, we know that, and I said this to a client today, and it's amazing how many people don't get this. That I asked this client, given it's December 30th, what intentions have you set for the new year? And this person kind of looked at me like, intentions? Yes, this is the time to do that. Set intentions in an affirmative way. In other words, What do you see as lock, stock, and barrel in your mind's eye? It is done. Don't set New Year's resolutions because that's a mental treadmill. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. No, you're not. It's not going to happen. There's no intention there. But when you have an action plan attached to intentions and you see that happening, it will happen.
So a good thing to do is to stop this if you're watching this afterwards, or if you have it going on now. You literally take out a piece of paper and what is your intention for the first corner of your life, your love life? That's your love of self. And then the relationships that we have with other people, whether it's family, business, friendships, whatever those things are. So your love of self comes first. What are you going to do to enhance that, to make it greater? And those relationships around you. What is the thing that you want? And then what are the actions that you are taking? Then the second corner of your life, Nick, our health. Yes. So
Yep.
What are those things that you want to do for this year that make your health better? Like Nick and I have been talking about it, and we're coming up with our plan, because over the holidays we obviously got off of our plan.
Oh, no, we didn't. Not at all.
Yes, we did. But it's been fun, and it hasn't been all bad. So it's, what are we doing to regenerate and refocus? And, it comes from all those different avenues in your health. And then the next corner of your life, your success, your abundance. What is it that you're intending there? And it can be anything. I mean, abundance
Right.
is not just your job. It can be
Right.
a lot of different things. Success can be very much about your job and about creating financial, more
Right.
abundant in that department. So again, you're writing these intentions down, and then you're also creating that action plan. Then the next one is your joy. What do you want to do to have more fun in your life, to be more festive? What are those things that you're creating? So I personally think it's a great idea to have a paper calendar. And in the calendar, like Nick grabbed my book, and in a couple weeks ago, and he's like, I need your 26 book. And he put in there a trip that we're going to take. It was part of my Christmas present. And so when you're looking at your paper calendar, you're also putting in action steps at the different weeks. All right. So this week I'm going to take this new action. This week I'm going to create this new one. So you're taking little steps, not making it one huge big thing. Like for instance, with your health, you make some adjustments with maybe eating here, maybe adjustments with exercise. And you're just, each week you're kind of meeting it out where you're creating those action steps, and it's a continual reminder as each week goes on.
Truly.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a handy thing to do.
Well, and as you look backwards, as we come out of a global 9-year, I would also take a look at the past year, and whatever didn't work, get rid of that. But if there was something strong about your life, bring that forward, incorporate that, because you want to release let's call them the weaknesses.
Yeah.
But we want to embrace the strengths, because in those strengths, that's where the accomplishments are. Bring in more of the good, let go of whatever didn't work. I mean, look, in the day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, there's a lot of things that are experimental. We know that. But we don't learn if we don't try. Right?
Yeah. I'm going to bring up something really quick, because it's been coming up lately with my clients, and I'm sure your clients as well. As we're finishing this 9-year and we're starting a 1-year, and there is this new beginning, I think that people have a tendency to judge themselves. I talked a bit about on my last podcast I did. And that judgment literally keeps you back in it. So as you're moving into this 1 year, and it is about yourself, whatever we did in the past, I mean, it's what you did with the consciousness that you had at the time. We've all done whatever that is. So as you're moving into this new year, and it is a 1 year, you look at whatever it was, whether you did something or somebody else did something, and you're letting it go. And so coming up on Saturday is a full moon, and that's a
Right.
great time to let things go. So maybe take some time now and look at where you might be judging yourself or judging someone else, and write it down on paper. And then when you have the full moon going on Saturday, that is a time to let it go. I don't need to carry that into this new year. It's finished, it's done. So you either let it go with regard to yourself or whoever else. And if you are letting it go with someone else, there's a part of it where you make a mutual, where you're realigning with each other. So you're agreeing, what do we learn here? How do we let it go? And you're moving forward in a new constructive way.
Right.
So that's, I think, an important part of
Well, it
what's
is.
going on now, because there's a lot of, when we're working with clients, there's a lot of times people are just holding on to what either they did or what somebody else did. And as we're
Right.
going into a new year, let it go.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and the other thing is, too, I do talk about whatever you learned and whatever strengths moving forward, but by the same token, don't rest on your laurels either, okay? I mean, when you go into a 1 year, especially a 46 one, you know, you want to come out with guns blazing, you know, and and sometimes it's easy because of where the first hits, because it's a weekend, we'll start fresh on Sunday or Monday. Don't do that, you know, when after the first, you know, come out with, yep, I'm ready to go.
Guns blazing.
Guns blazing, yes.
Like Yosemite Sam.
Whoa.
Wait, you got to do that louder now. Then, now that you started it, you have to do it. Nick, one thing you don't know about him, he's got a whole repertoire of different friends, and his daughters have taken that on as well.
Yeah, they do voices.
Yeah. So
I just hear voices.
do your Yosemite Sam. Come on.
Oh, that rabbit.
Wesley Wabbit.
No, he doesn't say Wesley Wabbit.
That's not Yosemite Sam.
That's Elmer Fudd.
Yeah. It's a story for another time.
Yep.
Ah.
Anyway, let's move on. All right. So a week ago or so, Audrey and I were in the car, and she was listening to this astrologer talk, and I do read what different astrologers, and I listen and I pay attention, because we all look at things from different perspectives and angles, and that's good. It's good to do that. But when I was listening to this guy, it was really drifting into a bit of gloom and doom. And you have to be very careful as any kind of prognosticator not to influence people in such a way where they feel like they lose hope. Like, what's the use? And there is something that he was talking about, and I am going to talk about that. But because I do my homework, I found something else that's before that. He's talking about April. We need to look at the latter part of January first.
What's happening?
What's happening? I don't know. I can't read this. So what's going to happen is when you get clusters of planets, which are called a stellium, it concentrates the energy.
Ed, let's show the people what he's looking at here.
This is like isobars, you know, on a weather map. And it's like, can't make head nor tails of this. So what we have is all these planets that are in Aquarius.
Ed, is it paused?
For some reason it kind of froze here. Let me try to bring it back up.
But they can see where my index finger is,
Yeah.
that's where...
Let me.
Well, it looks like the...
Hold on, let's make sure it's...
No, the camera froze for some reason. Let me try to get it back up here. Another. Let me refresh.
Okay. There we go.
There we go. Okay. Is it moving now? No, no. It's not moving yet.
Okay. So we can
While you're talking, now I can.
we can take the picture off of that and come back to us.
Okay.
People saw that, so I can talk about it. Okay.
There we are.
So what I was saying is, right here, this is where there is a cluster of Aquarius: Mars, the Sun, Pluto, Mercury, and Venus. And we even have a stellium of Pisces, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. The Moon, Saturn, and Neptune. And this is on January the 23rd. Well, here's what I get. Uranus, which rules Aquarius, is very unpredictable. And all these Aquarian planets that are on top of each other, in fact, there is just slightly more of a 7-degree, not 10, 20. There's only a 7-degree separation from Mars when it goes into Aquarius at 0 degrees to Venus, a little over 7 degrees of Aquarius. All right? That is really compressed. And that is very volatile energy. And that starts on January the 23rd. Now, here's what I get about this. What is Uranus all about in Aquarius? It's humanitarianism, but it's also revolutionary. So what could we see in late in January? A buildup, a lot of energy, demonstrations, things like that. That kind of energy of, we're not going to take that anymore. I ran this because we live in Los Angeles, according to here, and it's in the 3rd house, which is house of people, communication. So this also means things are going to be said that are revolutionary. This means that 3rd house, communication, intellect, people, okay? This means that there's also a change in thinking, a change of opinion.
Wow.
So something is going to hit the fan late in January, that where it's people are taking up a cause of some kind. That's very profound to have all that kind of Aquarian energy going on.
I'm curious to ask this question while you're talking about that. There has been this huge deal going on with this guy, Nick Shirley, who is an independent journalist. I've been watching him for a while, and he just has been, exploding with the amount of content that he's got a lot of people watching. So people are starting to wake up to a certain level of corruption that's been happening within communities.
Wait, there's more.
And I want to hear it.
So at the same time, on January 23rd, we have the moon right on top of Saturn. Now, when the moon is behind Saturn on that day, that's called a hunter's moon. That means karma ripens. So there's a bit of paying the piper that's with this. And guess what else?
What?
Saturn is now creeping up on Neptune, and Saturn will fully align with Neptune in Pisces on February the 20th.
What does that mean?
That's the big reveal that I started talking about last April. Okay?
This is good.
So we have the cluster of the Aquarius stellium in the 3rd house where people are rising up. And then here, this is where we have Neptune hitting Saturn and starting the push to align as we get into February. Now, one of the things about this, and this has to do with the well-being of children, okay? It also has to do with the entertainment industry. So there are things that are going to come out that will be so telling, okay, that people will not be able to deny it.
Wow.
That's how powerful this is. The other thing about this stellium in Aquarius, this is going to have to do with some kind of technology that's about to come out. And it's not AI. It's something that is technologically a part of where our future is going. And
could it have to do with health?
No, it doesn't have to do with health. Okay, what it has to do with is the utilization of technology. A couple years ago, and our good friend Stephanie was in an audience where Merlin talked, and Merlin said that as we are looking at, gasoline-powered cars and all that kind of stuff, that Merlin said that the sun will power our vehicles. Right, Ed?
Yep, he told me that too.
Okay, and
Cool.
this is the beginning of that.
Oh, wow.
So they'll look for a lot of, very powerful things in the latter part of January, which, as we sit here today on December 30th, that's 3 weeks away. We're not talking about something that is, 2 years down the road. This is coming soon with
We live in
this.
such an exciting time.
No kidding. No kidding. Now, the other thing is, as we go into April, all right, here we have an Aries stellium. And Aries is,
How common is these stelliums?
they're not.
Okay.
For instance, back in April of 2019, I was talking about the stellium in Capricorn that was going to form in January of 2020. Remember me saying how bad 2020 was going to be?
Yeah.
Was I right or was I right? Yep. I don't like to be right at times like that. But this is going to be with all this energy in Aries. And again, this is run in Los Angeles. Aries rules the first house, and this ends up being a natural chart. And we have Neptune, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, the Sun, and Moon
Jeez.
on April 17th, all in Aries.
Oh, my.
Now, what is Aries? The god of war. What planet rules Aries? Mars, god of war. Okay? Is there going to be some aggressive energy in mid to late April? You better believe it. So that time we want to batten down the hatches a bit because it's very hard to contain that kind of Aries-Mars energy. Now, it's not a complete stellium. What I mean is the sun and moon are right on top of each other. That's a new moon, by the way, on April 17th, 2026. But when you go from Neptune to Saturn, that's only a 5-degree separation. So that's a 4-planet stellium, which is really intense. Neptune, Mercury, Mars, and Saturn.
So
All-
when you're looking at that, I get it that you're looking at it astrologically, but as a psychic and maybe looking at it numerologically, do you think that that is a possibility for like a war?
Now, I don't think it's a war. I think it's more of what we've seen before, where it's a bit of an uprising, okay, where people are lashing out. Both Aquarius and Aries energy bring about a certain amount of independence. All this Aries energy, that is gross intolerance. All right, you remember the movie Network, 40 years ago, I'm mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore. It was older than that, quite frankly. That's what this is. This is people rising up.
Wow.
So we have two powerful, actually 3 powerful events. The Aquarius stellium in late January, the Neptune-Saturn alignment, which tears down gross authority, like the last time it happened, the Berlin Wall came down, and then it's actually very liberating. And then the Aries stellium in mid-April coming up. So these, within a short amount of time, are going to be very telling events, and they have to do with reshaping, society. In 2026, mankind is going to stand up for itself, and not be pushed down or pushed around it anymore.
That's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Anything with Aquarius is going to be unique, new, and different, a break from tradition. And anything with all this energy, Aries energy, is people being, yes, combative. But you asked me a question the other day, Audrey, and did I see things as like a war like World War III breaking out? No. In fact, the thing that I get from the Neptune-Saturn alignment is the beginning of peace between Russia and Ukraine, and also I see things in 2026 being settled between Israel and Palestine.
Nice.
I see things actually tempering, in 2026.
That's great.
And the other thing is where people struggled a bit, not knowing what to do in 2025, people will feel more direct, more directed, more directive in 2026. The other thing is that 46.1 that we're looking at, for anyone that has anything to do with the housing market, real estate, anything that has to do with homes and real estate, this is good for that. This is going to be very uplifting for anyone that's a realtor, a escrow officer, banker that has to do with homes and properties. It's very good.
Nice.
Yep. And what you'll see with all this is a lowering of interest rates.
Sweet.
Yes.
Well, when you're looking at the financial situation altogether, it looks like there is a massive change that is coming up. What do you see with regard to that, or what are you sensing with regard to that?
Well, the birthday of the New York Stock Exchange is May 17th. And so what you do is you take May 17 and you don't plug in 2026 until you get to May 17th, because you don't do the new year until it has its birthday. And so until May 17th, the New York Stock Exchange is a 31.4 year, which is sort of stabilized, okay? It's not going to go way up or way down, creating extreme changes. But in May, when we get to a 32.5 year, we will see a lot more volatility in the market. And with volatility becomes a lot of unpredictability. Now, I'm not talking about commodities or precious metals. I'm talking about the traditional three-lettered stocks. Mm-hmm. So, you have to be very, I would say, conservative in a 5 year, because a five year makes impatience. People are bouncing off the walls, don't know what to do next. It's a very erratic kind of behavior.
So it's a good idea to really do things that are more stable.
Exactly.
And diversify, and not
Right.
be in something where it's like all of your things are in something that is fluctuating so much. So again, we're not financial experts, and we just
No.
look at a bunch of different things, and it's a good idea to, measure things out for yourself.
Definitely. There's a lot of different things that will show up as the weeks and months go by. I can sit and put a year-long prediction out there, but there are things that have to unfold, and people have choice. So I'm looking at this point, the first 4 months of the year. I will look more deeply into this as the year goes on. Like for instance, on a very trivial thing, how I look at things. But last August, before the National Football League season started, I was very public with, as last year in the Super Bowl was Philadelphia and Kansas City, and I said neither one of those teams are going to go back to the Super Bowl. And the last time I made that kind of prediction a few years ago, that came true. And look at Kansas City, they didn't even make the playoffs. In fact, they're sub 500. Philadelphia was going to go to the playoffs, but I'm telling you, they will not go to the Super Bowl. We're going to see new teams in there. So a 1 year is new beginnings. So we're not going to see the recurrence of other teams going back in. And you're going to see this in a lot of the sports. Like, for instance, as we go through the year, we get into the heart of basketball season and the hockey season, all that kind of stuff. You're going to see teams winning championships that either they didn't win before or they haven't won in a long time. That's what you'll see. You'll also see in humanity much more of an independent mindset where you see more people being inventive, but also doing more entrepreneurship in the year ahead, and you're going to see a lot more. How do I say this? If I say banks, then I literally mean banks, but you'll see a lot more people that are abundant come forward and helping other people, be successful. So, because that 6 in the 46 is all about humanitarianism. So it's a restructuring of humanity, a support of humanity.
I love
is
that.
what we're going to see. And there's going to be a lot of financial changes that take place in 2026 that are not on the mainstream news. They're part of mainstream metaphysics, but not mainstream news. And we're going to see some prolific things happen financially in 2026 that a lot of people are going to be surprised. And they're good. They're really good things. So, in the couple minutes we have left, remember, folks, set your intentions. And something that Merlin said a few weeks ago, which is really important, that in the time that I haven't been doing this show, that no matter what goes on in the world, no matter what authority figures do, business leaders do, you have a contract with your soul. You are individualized to your soul, and you are not controlled by the outside. This is what Merlin said, that you have intention, your soul has destination, you are divinely guided, and when you set your intention that you are creating what you're intending, that will happen no matter what the big they is doing. So don't pay so much attention to what's going on like that, because that is not affecting you in the way you think it is. Yep, you pay more for gas at the tank, you pay more for, your groceries, but ultimately your destination is a point from here to there, and you are in control of that. Stay the course, folks. Be who you are so you can have what you want, not what they say you're going to have.
Love that.
Right?
Yeah.
And for those of you that have been watching all this time through the years, I want to wish all of you a very, very, very happy new year, a prosperous new year, a healthy new year. And I'm looking forward to the new year.
Me too.
I really am. And this isn't Pollyanna. I mean, I've been looking at this. It's going to be a fascinating year. So make it yours, enjoy it. Come out positively, come out swinging January 1st.
Guns a-blazing.
Right?
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks for being with me tonight. I
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thank
It's
you.
good to be back here in the studios with Ed. And I will see you down the road. I have a busy time ahead of me. So I'll let you know in advance when I'm going to be here again. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a blessed year ahead of you, and I'll see you next time. Good night.